A pre-season friendly has just been arranged against Hearts in Scotland in July. Christian Romero on other offers received. Tonguan Ndombele has just won the Turkish League title alongside 3 former Spurs players. Details about the Carabao Cup third round. Conor Gallagher is still on Tottenham's list, but it may be difficult to get done now, according to reports. Brian Hill is wanted at Sevilla, according to reports. The BBC have stated that Jed Spence is wanted at Genoa, but they don't want to pay £8.5 million for him. The latest on Heung-min Son's contract. Academy Director Simon Davis has come out and said, I know Ange Postecoglou is now ready for the young players to go into the first team. And the Evening Standard have just reported that Tottenham are open to letting Richarlison leave, despite his comments earlier in the week. And Spurs are open to letting 13 first-team players leave this summer.
Chris Cowlin. Fan cams. Club news. Transfer news. Match previews. Legend interviews. Spurs winning. Press conferences. Covering everything Tottenham and England.
Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's start with some news that the club released on Wednesday afternoon. We've been invited to play Heart of Midlothian in a pre-season match at Tynecastle Stadium as part of the Edinburgh club's 150th anniversary celebrations. The friendly for our men's first team will take place on Wednesday, the 17th of July. The kick-off time will be 7 p.m. One of Scotland's most storied clubs, founded in 1874, 4-time Scottish champions, Hearts have just completed a fine season in the Scottish Premiership, where they have just finished third behind the Glasgow Giants of Celtic and Rangers, qualifying for European football in the process. Spurs defender Mickey van der Ven has just been named in the Netherlands national team squad for Euro 2024, having been named in Ronald Koeman's initial squad earlier this month. The player of the season has earned his place in his nation's final squad, which will see him involved in his first major international tournament. Now, before the tournament kicks off, the Dutch side will face 2 friendlies, a clash with Canada on Thursday, the 6th of June, and then another friendly against Iceland at Feyenoord's home on Monday, the 10th of June. Now, more international news. Ben Davies, Brennan Johnson and Joe Rodon have just received call-ups to the Wales national team for upcoming fixtures, friendlies in June. Head coach Rob Page has named his 25-man squad. He named this on Wednesday, the 29th of May, as the Dragons embark on 2 away trips to face Gibraltar and Slovakia. Now, of course, midfielder Tonguan Ndombele is still a Spurs player. He has spent this season on loan at Galatasaray. Well, the midfielder has just won the league title with the Turkish Giants. He played 19 games for them this season, starting only 4 games, playing a total of 455 minutes. He provided 1 assist and had 1 shot on target all season. Former Spurs players Serge Aurier, Davinson Sanchez and Carlos Vinicius are also part of the Galatasaray squad that have just finished the season with winners' medals. Tottenham Hotspur vice-captain Christian Romero has been talking out about he does analyse other offers coming in. He's been talking to the media in Argentina and said the truth is that I'm fine for now, but I'm not thinking about any transfers. I'm thinking about preparing myself these days to get to the national team in the best way possible, which is the next step I have. The things that come up in the moment are obviously always analysed, but I'm not thinking about my future as yet. I'm thinking about the national team. Now that is that I have Copa America coming up. I'll always try to take the national team to the top, and then we will see what happens. Now, various reports have stated in the last 24 hours that during the draw for the third round of the Carabao Cup for the 2024-2025 season, teams in the Champions League and teams in the Europa League will be kept apart, so they cannot be drawn against one another, meaning that Spurs and Manchester United, who are in the Europa League, cannot be drawn against the likes of Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Aston Villa. The Independent newspaper have just stated that Spurs remain interested in Chelsea midfielder and Chelsea captain Conor Gallagher, but a deal now will be more difficult to get done than it was last summer. They have also stated that Aston Villa are now interested in the England international. Reports in Spain are stating that Sevilla are again interested in Tottenham Hotspur winger Bryan Gil. They want to sign Bryan Gil in the summer transfer window with a purchase obligation, but they only want to spend a maximum of €6 million. BBC Sport have just stated that Genoa are keen to sign Spurs defender Jed Spence on a permanent basis. The Italian club want to acquire the former Nottingham Forest and Middlesbrough fullback on a permanent basis, but will not pay the full £8.5 million option to buy in the deal. They will instead seek to pay a lower fee, given that Jed Spence impressed while making 16 appearances in Serie A during the 2023-2024 season. Any move is subject to uncertainty surrounding Genoa's ownership under 777 Partners, who agreed to buy a majority stake in Everton as part of their multi-club strategy, but have since struggled to finalise the deal. The Athletic have just reported on Heung-min Son, and they have stated that Tottenham Hotspur are now looking to trigger an option in the Tottenham Hotspur captain's contract that will mean that he will be under contract with the club until 2026. A report has just been published by the Evening Standard all about Mikey Moore. They have been talking to Simon Davis, the Academy Director, about Mikey Moore, and he said it's encouraging that the manager sees something in Mikey, but it is just potential at the moment. He is only 16. He's not 17 until August, so he's still a young boy with high potential. We have several of them in the academy. It's exciting for the academy to have a player so young on the bench for the first team, but we have to stay calm and consistent because at the moment he is just potential. Simon Davis also went on to say, I speak to Ange Postecoglou regularly and he's got a real thirst for youth development. He understands the fans and the club's ambitions to have several, not just one, but several of our own in the first team. But it's my job to make sure those players are at a level of Ange. It's not just a given. We're Tottenham. We want to be in the Champions League and we want to be a Champions League club that's fighting at the top end. So we have to make sure the players are at the right level. Simon Davis also went on to say it's not fair to ask a manager at any club to give young players a go when they're not at the level. I know Ange Postecoglou is ready for young players to go in the first team. The Evening Standard have just released the following. Tottenham will consider bids for Richarlison this summer despite the striker's insistence he will not leave England. Richarlison this week dismissed suggestions he is in talks with other clubs as fake news and insisted he has never said he was unhappy at Spurs. He remains among the players that Spurs are prepared to sell for the right price. However, as head coach Ange Postecoglou plans a major clear-out, the 27-year-old has attracted interest from more than one of the Saudi Arabian's state-backed clubs who would be able to match the £60 million that Spurs paid Everton for the striker 2 years ago. Spurs are also willing to offload Richarlison's teammate Emerson Royal, who has attracted interest from AC Milan and Saudi clubs. Emerson's agent was pictured meeting Milan officials this week, although the defender was not the only player discussed. Postecoglou has said change has to happen this summer if Spurs are to progress, and several senior players will be allowed to leave. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Giovanni Lo Celso, who have both entered the final year of their contracts, are set to move on along with Bryan Gil, while returning loanees Joe Rodon, Jed Spence, Sergio Reguilon, Tongi Ndombele and Javat Tanganga are not part of Ange Postecoglou's plans. The club would also listen to suitable offers for squad players such as Ben Davis, Oliver Skipp and Manor Solomon, while Ryan Sessegnon is expected to leave Spurs on a free transfer after another injury hit campaign. Postecoglou has talked up Yves Bissouma and Rodrigo Bentancur, and it would likely take a considerable offer to tempt Spurs to sell either of the midfield pair. Spurs have already boosted the squad with the signings of Lucas Bergvall, who will arrive in pre-season after a deal was agreed for the Swedish teenager in January, and Timo Werner, whose loan deal has just been extended for a further season. Now, my thoughts and comments on everything in this episode. And I'll tell you what, at the end of May, there is a lot going on at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Of course, there is a lot of work to do. Lots of players will hopefully come in the door, and lots of players will possibly be going out the door. Let's start with the report about 13 first-team players going out the door. Ange has said many times, there must be change. There must be major change at the football club, and I completely agree. I don't want to be like a broken record because I don't feel like I want to keep repeating myself again and again and again because I know a lot of you listen to these on a regular basis, certainly on a daily basis. So, but I do expect a lot of players to go out the door. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Richarlison went out the door. I know that his comments, 48 hours ago or so, he come out and said that it's fake news and he wants to remain in England. I'm sure that he does want to remain at Spurs, and I'm sure he will remain in England. So if he does leave Spurs, I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was for another English club, because he loves playing here in England. That is pretty obvious. But we definitely need a new striker in, and whether that will upset Richarlison if Spurs were to sign a new striker, and we sign a new striker, in order to make that player the main man, and Richarlison was going to be a bench player, a fringe player, or a squad player. I don't think he would like that very much. He very much wants to be a part of the first team, and he wants to be in that starting 11 week in, week out. But as Postecoglou has said many times, there must be major change. I think there will be major change this summer. I expect another summer, a decent summer like last summer, the first summer that Postecoglou was here. Of course, James Maddison signed, Mickey van der Ven signed, Vicario signed. There was major change then. That must continue in every single transfer window. I cannot say that enough. Every single transfer window under Postecoglou or whoever the manager is, you must change your squad. You must refresh again and again and again. Simon Davis, the academy director, has come out and said that players must be at the right level. I've said this. I've always said it. It's all well and good. Some fans seeing some of the under 21 players or under 18 players, do well in a game or two, but it has to be consistent. I think that a lot of the development players this season have been consistent, and that is what has been really, really good to see. 2 cup finals, the playoff final, of course, the Premier League Cup final, and of course they won the Premier League 2 title as well. And, players like Jamie Donnelly, Santiago, of course, players like Tyrese Hall and Abbott, they got chances and opportunities in the game in Australia in Melbourne last week, and that was great to see. So it's nice that, these players have worked consistently well all year, and now, certain players will be getting chances, and that is really, really good to see. It's great to see from a fan's point of view when you've got, one of your own on the bench, like Mikey Moore. He's literally bypassed, the under 21s, and he's gone straight in there, and last game of the season, he's had a couple of opportunities, isn't he? The last couple of games of the season, Man City and Sheffield United away, he's come off the bench and got minutes. So that's really, really good to see. So I'm hoping to see a lot of the development players getting opportunities under Ange for next season, especially when we're in the Europa League. And if we can get the job done early with the first team, go strong in the competition to try and hopefully go far and win it, then, bring these players off the bench 20, 30 minutes to go and give them opportunities, which would be great. Brian Hill is wanted. Jed Spence is wanted. But these teams don't want to pay the money. From what I understand, Leeds want Joe Rodon, but it's expected that they don't want to pay the asking price that Spurs have set. I think that some of these players now we will probably end up offloading on the cheap. And that probably means Tongion Ndombele as well. He's going to come back, having just won another winner's medal. But only 4 starts. Only 4 starts all season for Tongion Ndombele. And when I saw the stats and put them out on social media today, 4 starts all season for Tongion Ndombele, but yet another winner's medal. And he only had 1 shot on target all season. That's really, really poor. So I can't see Spurs actually getting any money for him. I think they're going to probably end up ripping up the contract, paying him off, and, you know, saying the best of luck to you in the future. But yeah, I couldn't believe those stats, actually. Conor Gallagher, it looks like that deal was going to be more difficult to get done now with Aston Villa interested. Interesting one about the Carabao Cup, but pleasing to the ears that we can't be drawing against Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool or Aston Villa in the third round of the competition. So hopefully we'll go far in that. Reports are stating that Heung-min Son, you know, Spurs are going to be extending his contract with the option in his contract. So that will go until 2026. That's fantastic news for our captain staying. The friendly against Hearts. Yes, I've booked my flight already. Cannot wait to go up there. Always enjoy the games in Scotland. Of course, we played Rangers recently. That was a good trip. And I suppose the only disappointing thing is that it is midweek, where a lot of fans like to spend like the weekend in Scotland. But yeah, really looking forward to that trip. And Christian Romero on offers. You know, I'm just hoping that someone like Christian Romero spends a very, very long time at Tottenham Hotspur, because I think his discipline has been, you know, really improved this season, and I think there is still so much more to come from someone like Christian Romero. And I love his aggression. I know he needs to control it, you know, not receive red cards and not put Spurs in trouble by going down to 10 men. But I love his attitude, and I think with someone like him at the back, you know, Spurs can become winners in the very near future with leaders like him on the pitch. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, come on you Spurs.